Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
People of all ages now eligible to receive their COVID-19 booster shots. Now at 10, the message from doctors on when you should be getting your booster.
A catalytic converter theft turns violent. A witness has their car windows smashed after trying to record the theft. Now at 10, she recounts the moments leading up to that scary scene.
And deadly scenes in Ukraine following more attacks from Russia. Government leaders now responding to the continued strikes.
And as we head into the colder months, a reminder that everyone is now eligible to get their next COVID-19 booster shot. Thanks for joining us here in the news at 10. I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. Fox 61's Gabby Molina spoke to doctors today to answer some of the questions that you may have about that latest booster shot. She is live at Hartford Hospital right now with those details for us. Gabby.
Jen, Ben, a lot of people might remember that previously only certain age groups and people who were at a higher risk were eligible for the booster shot, but that is not the case anymore. And experts are saying that if you haven't gotten your booster shot yet, now is a good time to do so. As the weather starts to get cooler and people start to gather indoors, health experts have an important reminder.
I would tell people as we get into the colder months to get ready, get your flu shot, get your COVID shot, because, COVID has been here and it's here to stay.
Anyone 12 or older who received their last COVID vaccine at least 2 months ago is eligible for the updated COVID-19 booster shot. And experts are recommending you get it.
It might be the difference between having a cold or being in the hospital in our ICUs.
But here in Connecticut, only about 6% of the people who received their first 2 shots have gotten the updated booster.
I think there may be a few reasons for that. There is definitely some fatigue out there regarding boosters, but there also seems to be some confusion, in terms of who's eligible and who really benefits most from the boosters.
Experts say it's important to be up to date on your shots because we're dealing with more contagious strains of COVID-19 now.
What we saw this past summer was a pretty high level of COVID transmission in the community here in Connecticut. So we're dealing with variants that are more transmissible, more contagious. And as we move into the winter months, we see people gather indoors. There's an expectation that there's going to be some ongoing transmission, probably at a high level here in Connecticut.
The booster shots are widely available. The Department of Public Health's mobile vaccine clinics operate all over the state every day. For example, on the New Haven Green, the site is open every weekday with health officials administering the updated booster.
What's different about this booster is that it does take into account the new Omicron variant, which has been going around, especially in Connecticut, but everywhere in the United States.
Doctors also want you to keep in mind there's the potential for a worse flu season, so they also recommend protecting yourself against that.
Nationally, there's starting to be an uptick in flu cases. And from what we saw in the Southern Hemisphere during our summer, which is their winter, there was high levels of flu activity. So there is some concern that, we may be in for a worse flu season than what we've seen the last couple of years.
And you can get your flu shot and your COVID-19 booster shot at the same time. You can also space it out by a few weeks if you're worried about the side effects. Keep in mind, though, that the CDC does recommend that everyone gets their flu shot by the end of this month. Live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
All right, Gabby, thank you very much. Catalytic converter thefts impacting Guilford businesses over the weekend, including one that became really scary for one person who witnessed it.
Fox 61's New Haven County Bureau reporter Tony Terzi exclusively spoke to a witness who could have been seriously injured.
The woman who took pictures of this silver Honda Accord, which had stolen plates and damage to the left front driver's side and rear passenger side, told Fox 61 exclusively today that she witnessed their brazen crime on Saturday afternoon.
I saw this car pull up to a car that I thought was the car of someone that worked there, and I saw them start jacking up the car, and I thought, that seems a little strange.
So she decided to call the front desk of the veterinary hospital to let them know.
And then I saw them pull out the typical saw that they use, and I thought, oh gosh, no, this is not good.
Then she took some pictures of this activity, which was done in about 90 seconds.
And then they looked and they saw me taking pictures and they saw me making the phone call. So they drove by my car very close by.
The perpetrators rolled down their windows and they shouted at her before driving away. But they came back.
And they jumped out of the car and just started smashing the windows with myself and my animal in the car.
She and her pet had been waiting in their car to be called in for an appointment. Now she was ducking for cover.
You know, my inclination should have been to put my car in gear and drive away, but I just was sort of so stunned by the whole thing that I didn't even entertain that.
Police say this was among a series of catalytic converter thefts over the weekend from Guilford businesses.
We ourselves are going to extend our security camera system and or lighting. That is something that we're diligently working on now.
Police encourage those who come across a crime in progress to immediately call 911 and leave any interactions with suspects to the cops. And they also suggest, with regard to catalytic converter thefts, you can help to avoid those by reaching out to your mechanic, who will likely have a plan in place. Here in Guilford, Tony Terzi, Fox 61 News.
Seems to be happening more and more.
Scary stuff right there, too.
All right, let's get to the weather watch here on this Monday night. Meteorologist Ryan Breton. Almost gave you a promotion. Meteorologist Ryan Breton standing by. Hi, Ryan.
I appreciate the generosity. Yeah, here for a few days as Rachel enjoys some time off. Hi, everybody. We had a couple of showers earlier on this evening, but those have faded away. The clouds along with them have as well, and we still have the nearly full hunter's moon in the sky. So we have a nice moonlit sky across most of the state. Big range in temperature. We're still nice and mild along the shoreline, 61 in New Haven, but 47 in Torrington, 48 in Waterbury. So some chilly air seeping into the Naugatuck Valley, down to 49 in Norwich and 53 right now in Hartford. By morning, I think most of us end up in the low 40s, but some of the chilliest spots outside the cities will end up in the upper 30s. Warmest at the shoreline, places like New Haven and Bridgeport, not dropping much below 47, 46 tomorrow morning. Plenty of sunshine on the way tomorrow. We have a great day ahead. Sunshine basically from start to finish. Afternoon temperatures back up into the mid and upper 60s tomorrow. So another classic New England fall day on the way. We do have some rain to watch, though. That's for Thursday and Friday. Some of that rain Thursday night may be heavy. We'll take a look at the timeline and how much may fall coming up in just a little while.
Ryan, thank you. Well, new at 10 tonight, the Fairfield Police Department asking for the public's help to identify this individual. The man is a suspect in a robbery that happened earlier today at TD Bank on 1643 Post Road. The suspect allegedly approached a bank teller and then demanded money. Officers saying that the suspect is in his mid-50s, thin build, around 5'11" in height. The suspect was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt and a mask. That suspect did not have a weapon, but if you recognize this man or have any information, contact Fairfield Police.
Tonight, a 19-year-old man is in the hospital after being shot in Hartford this morning. It happened on Barber Street shortly before 11 a.m. Police say the victim went to the Hartford firehouse after being shot. He was then sent to the hospital for treatment. Well, tonight we are starting to get a better picture of the damage in Ukraine following a series of massive revenge airstrikes from Russia. Russian airstrikes rocking multiple cities across the country, explosions hitting the central part of the capital, Kyiv, targeting civilian infrastructure, population centers, and even a playground near a hospital. Russian President Vladimir Putin says it's revenge for a suspected Ukrainian strike on a key bridge in Crimea, with some saying it could signal a major escalation in the war.
Putin will not stop from here. He will only escalate. And our own president, Joe Biden, just recently warned us about the possibility of nuclear Armageddon.
Ukrainian forces still retaking more territory from the Russians, with some now saying that they're even more determined to keep fighting.
Well, President Joe Biden's team is joining the international chorus against Russia's latest actions. The president condemning today's attacks, saying that America will continue to impose costs on Russia for this type of aggression. He spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. In the call to President Zelensky, President Biden pledged to continue supporting Ukraine, including with air defense systems.
Senator Richard Blumenthal weighing in on the situation in Ukraine. Blumenthal calling for additional ammunition, arms, and humanitarian aid to be sent to Ukraine. The senator taking to Twitter, saying in part, Putin's massive bombing of Ukrainian civilians, savage criminal terrorism, requires a robust response, beginning with major shipments of more air defense systems. And new at 10, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy hosting a town hall tonight following his recent trip to Warsaw Security Forum in Poland. Senator Murphy giving an update on the current state of affairs in Poland and Ukraine.
This is a really volatile time with the Ukrainians showing so much progress, starting to really back Vladimir Putin into a corner. We all worry about him doing something really desperate, and the vague references to tactical nuclear weapon usage in Ukraine, something we all have to pay attention to, and we have to make clear to Putin what the consequences will be for him if he was to take such a desperate measure.
Now, Senator Murphy saying Poland right now is electric. He also said that they've stepped up in a big way to help by hosting refugees from Ukraine. Any of the weapons and funding from the U.S. being sent to Ukraine are first going through Poland.
Well, happening tomorrow, the jury hearing the defamation suit against conspiracy theorist Alex Jones are set to resume deliberation. This comes after they completed their first full day of deliberation on Friday. They did not reach a verdict before the weekend on how much money the Sandy Hook victims should receive in compensation. There's no limit on damages for hurtful and unscrupulous business practices under the Trade Practices Law here in the state of Connecticut.